recognize. Um, you kind of see certain people all awaken at the same time. You can see the throughout the window. It is just beginning of the day. You can hear the bells, the klaxon or the clacking of the bells, like early morning bells go off. And we're gonna start off with Aman. Aman, what are you doing first as you find yourself in a strange body?
Um, hmm, this is going to be a bit weird,
Mhm.
um, because that was one weird dream I was having. Like, like, who even was that woman? I don't know. Um, but yeah, I will yawn and stretch and look around and say, "Oh, good morning, friends. How'd you all sleep? I slept pretty good, eh? I just had some very weird dreams."
Mhm. All right. You can go to Elbar. What about you? Or the Fixer. I think I'm just gonna refer
Oh,
to you as Erbar. I'm just gonna call you the Fixer because I think that name works better. The Fixer.
that's fine. It's a bit easier to pronounce there.
The Fixer. What are you doing as you seem to get up?
About stretches, gets out of bed, stands up, his armor starts pulling itself around him. Picture Iron Man style. It just assembles. On and on him.
Mhm.
Strange dream, man. I've had a bit of a funny one myself. What
Yeah,
things
like
going on in these
I
parts?
don't know if it could have been the food that we had last night. That stew, it was pretty tasty, but I mean, it could have been a little bit too full of salt.
You got a problem with my cooking on him?
Oh, right, you cooked the food. Okay, no, then it can't have been you. I'm just all very confused this morning.
That's all right. So early mornings do that sometimes, eh? Especially with I'll just pick someone's. I don't know. Let's pick on one because he's not here.
Yeah.
His snoring last night.
Yeah, I would say he's very hungover from whatever happened last night.
The,
He's
the,
still
the stew might have been spiked a little bit.
uh, that is fair. I would say, you start to see your two commanders start to rustle up first, and I'm gonna let gosh, Farius.
Second?
Is, no, I just want to see. I just gonna pronounce it. Oh, Ushi, what's your character's name?
Mine.
Faris.
For Faris, that's it. For Faris, yeah. For Faris, I'm gonna let Faris speak, and then we're gonna go to Nemo and Xanon first. All right. So for Faris, what are you doing?
He confused by why everyone is having wild dreams and stomach aches and being hungover. Just casually sits up. He's gonna take out his hairbrush and start combing out his hair, his messy, sleepy hair, because that's not allowed. He needs to always look on point. And he's going to just tilt his head towards everyone. Bonjour. Why are you so troubled this morning? I do not think it was the food.
Well, yeah, like I don't know, eh? You've got your fantastical sort of constitution going on over there, so it makes sense that even if the food was bad, it wouldn't affect you.
My constitution is very bad. So I should be the one in pain. No?
No, then it was perhaps it was just me then.
Well, they say bad dreams are a bad sign. So you should cleanse your aura and go take a shower. Because you stink.
And I'll take a sniff. Like, yeah, you're right. I think I will go take a shower.
All right.
Au quoi?
Let's before you go, you can see one of your commanders. We're gonna begin with you first, Nemo. As you start to awaken and you see your squad all starting to awaken, you can clearly see one of them is not quite well. He is Hamon is taking a bit too much as he bends over and just upchucks all in a bucket right next door. So you know he's gonna be out for 2 days training, but how would you greet your squad first?
I don't think I'd be sleeping. I probably, when he starts speaking about the shower, I would come from the shower with a towel or something around my shoulders, wiping off my hair, with nothing else on, totally naked, swinging about, and just come into the room and say, "Hi, privates. You lazy bums only waking up now. I've been jogging around for like 2 hours. It's rad outside." And sit down on the bed and just make sure I'm totally dried off, and then start putting some clothes on.
Early riser as always, eh, Nemo? You know, the sun is barely even peeking up.
Yeah, you know what they say about the early worm? I don't get these muscles just by lying around like you lazy bums. Come on, you guys need to get up, get sorted, get your clothes on, get your gear on. You need to get outside, get to training. Hey, Zenon, you
Yes,
sleeping as well?
Xenon would already be up as well. I would be standing in front of a chest of drawers of sorts with a mirror on it and just adjusting my cloak.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what's going on, why we have to do all this training. It gets in the way of studying and reading. It's unnecessary for me. But yes, you lot need to pull yourself together. We have a day ahead of us.
All right.
Aye, aye, Captain. I will hit the showers right now, and I will run out the room.
Okay. There are two doors at this room, as you can see. There's a door to your top right. I'll just draw it over here, right? There's a door over here, and there's a door over there.
Okay.
You would, if you would know, the showers are actually to the south. If you wanted to go to the washroom, it is to the south. The armory,
But
is
I
to
will
your
go
left.
out the door to the right instead,
Okay, that's fair.
because I'm still a bit confused at the moment.
That is completely fair. As you enter the room, you can see that this is a room full of weapons, vast weapons. There are different types of weapons, all bearing the mark of. They all have this sort of stamp of a, like what's a maker's mark, you know, and it just says G on it somehow, and they seem to all be like almost obsidianly black, each one of them.
Oh wait, this isn't the showers. And I'll like look awkwardly, ashamedly at Xanon, who followed me in, and be like, sorry, sir, I'm still waking up. I will be back shortly, and then I will run out the other way.
That meat hit you harder than I anticipated.
Yes. Yeah, I'll reveal rooms as we go through them, right? As you walk into the beautiful castle of the Grand Duchy, right? The tiles are pristine, like by some sort of magical means they have been waxed and shined, and you can even see the reflection. You don't even have to have mirrors in this place because the reflection of the tiles is you can see your own face and all the imperfections of yourself also. Um, as you start to go a bit further south, you start to find the washroom just down here. Yeah, there is. There you
Okay.
go.
Leave the room to the well, the armory side. You
Yes.
tell the recruits, you've got 10 minutes. They were down for breakfast. Last one in has to do 10 burpees.
Oh no.
As he says that,
Invented yet, but yes.
uh,
Not in my game. I do not like them, but yes.
We'll call them something else like cannons or something.
Oh yeah, cannons. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
there we go.
I think as he says that, Herbal will go down and start fixing breakfast.
All right.
I'll just grab my weapons that I carry on me and
Yes.
make my weapons as well.
Of course. I'm gonna reveal more of the room. Yeah. Yoshi?
Yeah, he's just gonna probably approach Nemo and say, Captain, this great road you gave me is not really working out. Is there maybe something more delicate? Something I can use a bit more finesse?
DM, can I at that point, as he asks me,
Yes.
just make a quick observation check or an insight check, whichever one is applicable, to figure out why he would ask me such a simple question he knows the answer to?
Yeah, you could make an insight check or you can make a perception check, whichever one you choose. You're still figuring. You're still trying to figure out. So whichever one you feel is the highest, right?
Okay, that's a 16.
16. So I will say, you are not lying, Ushi.
No.
No. So I will say you clearly see that whatever they ate last night or whatever they did last night affected them quite a lot. Um, this is strange to you because you were in the meal in the dining room eating the same thing, doing exactly the same thing. So you don't quite like maybe they just had a rough night. You don't know. Maybe they just had indigestion, but it strikes you a bit odd. But yeah, you know he's not lying or anything like that.
And that was who was asking that? The fairies.
Yeah.
First.
Peppery.
Well, for fairies, I mean, look around. You can find anything you need. We've got all sorts, actually, so you can just swap it out if you need. Did you guys really hit the drink last night, or did you do something else that I'm not supposed to know about? You know I'm down for a little puff here and there.
Excuse me.
You didn't hear anything, Xanon.
Well, Captain, I cannot speak for the others, but for myself, nothing weird happened last night, except maybe a dream, but that is it. Any recommendations on which weapon you would suggest? And he kind of like looks confused around, not sure like what would fit his kind of like.
I will say, both of you, there are various weapons there of every kind. There are no +1 weapons, but you do see, like, the armory is filled with every weapon you could possibly think of.
How is Fafairs built? For two-weapon fighting, great weapon fighting, throwing, what is it?
He has a lot of dexterity and not a lot of strength.
Okay. Well, Fafairs, you can always just, I mean, there's quite a few light weapons. Maybe if you like scimitars, I know some people like dancing around with those. It's quite an art form sometimes.
Would it fit my shield? And he's gonna take his shield and he's like show it. It's kind of like very. It kind of like it screams. What is that? What's that phrase? Fun. Those spoiled rich kids. The parents have.
Ostentatious?
No, it's kind of like that. This is they're. It's like they have those money like put away for them to use at a later stage.
Trust fund.
Yes, the trust fund baby. That is what I'm looking for. So he's screaming, like it's screaming that like it's very decorative, not really supposed to, like it doesn't look like it's meant for combat, but you can see it actually has a few scratches on from training.
Okay. Maybe you can swap that out for a more sturdier one, a little bit bigger, and then that would go great with a great sword, with a short sword. Go gladiator style. You know, rough it up a bit. And then I just turn my back to you. I'm assuming I gave you enough information that you can sort yourself out. And then as I start leaving the room, I just hold out my hand and you see a very ornate spear. Just kind of very Thor-like with a hammer. It just goes from somewhere and just gets into my hand. And then I just walk out with the spear.
And I'll just walk out into the hallway, talking to myself, like, honestly, you've been training them for how long?
Shannon seems annoyed again this morning.
Well, as he suggested the short sword,
Yes.
he will reach out and grab the scimitar right next to it.
Yes.
So I'll swap out the great sword for the scimitar if you're okay with that, DM.
I'm fine with that. That's why I put the armory there, just in case you guys wanted to swap it out or change. But there are you kind of know that like this is the ground level of the castle, right? There are various armories throughout the castle. There's also a smithy in somewhere. You can hear the early steam. You can actually smell it, right? And the clanks and the like the douche, douche, douche. There's would also be a dining room, right? And some libraries and things like that for you to go into. Um, if we go to you, let's go to you, the fixer. What are you doing, the fixer?
Vix's busy putting breakfast together, getting it ready and cooked wherever the kitchen or dining room is.
All right, I will show you where the the the, the room is now. Let me just reveal it for you all. So it's quite a big dining room, right? I'm actually gonna reveal it over here for you there. So you can see it's actually down there as you start to enter the the, the big dining area. You go back into the kitchen area. Um, there are various again. There's like already bread on the table that's been laid. There's a couple of jugs of meat and things like that. And you can already start to hear people coming out of their dormitories, coming out of their, in wash chambers, getting their armor on, coming into the the dining room itself. And there is the pantry over there also. I can reveal all of that.
DM, are we known as a specific number of squad? Like squad 14 or something?
Yes, you are. You would be. I think you would be squad 12.
Okay.
Squad 12. You are also known as one of the. Like, there's no specific rankings of the squads, right? There are 20 squads. You are squad 12. You have been, as you know, your squad is this. Your specific job is to contain or stop the things that are coming out of the schism, right? That's your job at Squad 12. There's some rivalry between the other squads, but everyone's there for a reason. They're not all fighting, right? All right.
Yes, I didn't think he was put in the wrong squad.
Let's see.
I have more built for intelligence than active duty.
Yeah, but you're quite the glass cannon.
Yeah.
When you go on the skirmishes with us.
Thanks to my brain.
Well, I'm not the sharpest pencil sometimes. So.
And Xenon just whispers something into his. He's wearing a fur-trimmed coat with a fur collar, and he just whispers into the collar to himself, so no one can hear, but very obviously.
Zella, Nemo, can I get you guys some morning honey wine? Some stew?
Oh, yes. Honey wine sounds divine.
All right.
Then Nemo you would probably know that Nemo prefers anything vegan, although he doesn't mind sometimes cheating a little bit on the down low. But whatever you bring, you need to bring him twice as much as anybody else, even though he's not fat or obese or anything like that, because he's a bit of a gym junkie.
All right.
My metabolism.
Yeah.
I think
You could just say, yeah, bring me the usual.
yeah, I'll bring you a big plate of whatever you happen to prefer for breakfast.
I'll chuckle and say, bring up some fish.
Croissant, please.
Let's try something new today. That's fine.
Oh,
Ah, the croissant is very fresh. Captain, you should try it.
Oh wow.
There's some nice things in fish.
Mhm.
And as he does that, he breaks actually a French loaf.
Yeah.
Mm.
As let's go. Aman, are you finished in the bathroom? Or are you coming to breakfast?
So a little bit late than usual, but Armin eventually walks in, and you can see like shaved sides and back, white hair pulled into like a tight top knot, dark like metal half plate armor that just has this dull matte shine to it. And this ridiculously beautiful black silk coat that's over it. And he walks in, sees everyone, and then quickly walks to his chair and sits down.
I will say, as you enter, you see another student, well, not another student, another recruit walk into the dining chamber. Unlike the rest of you, this recruit is not assigned to a squad yet, because no squad wants to take them. This is his feathers are unkept, very rough. He kind of has this immense 5 o'clock shadow that even like for a Alfolk is very impressive. And you just see like these bags under his eyes, and he starts like going towards one of the chairs, swivels it backwards, sits on it, hunches over, and just starts plugging a flagon of ale that's just there. And then just goes to town on a wheel of cheese. Doesn't really care what anyone has. Doesn't really care what people think at this point. He's just like, he's finishing this massive wheel of cheese by himself.
You know,
Wait, do we know
sharing
his
is said
name?
to be caring.
Kind of gives you a grimace and be like, and offers you the half-eaten wheel of cheese.
He will kind of look at it, give it a second glance, and you know, on second thought, I'll rather stick with my croissant.
Jack, you want to suit yourself. Eats carries on eating the wheel of cheese that is. Nemo, did you want to say? Yeah.
What's his name again? Do we know?
You. Yeah, let's roll a history check. Let's see if you remember, because he's not in your squad.
Okay.
You would have heard of him. Yeah, you would have heard of him.
That's a 19.
Yeah, you've heard what this person is from the other captains immediately. You know this Alfolk as one bee bog or one bump bog, You know him has been one of the laziest students and the laziest recruits the Duchy has ever found. Like, it's even a mystery how he got in here because he's just very, very lazy and unkept, and no real squad wants him, but they can't really get rid of him.
Do we suspect some nepotism?
You
That's
kind
a
of
good word for
yeah. There
Nemo.
are rumors of nepotism. There are definitely rumors of nepotism. You just don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the commander of this? Let's call it a fleet or all the squads. Who's the main commander?
It would be the king, or that one of the commanders is like. Yeah, it would be the king of the Grand Duchy. It would be. Give me a moment. I got the name pulled up here somewhere.
Wait, does Nemo report straight to the king?
No, Nemo would report to like a general or something like that. He wouldn't report straight to the king. Yeah, all captains report to it's like a superior thing. So your captains will report to generals, and generals will report to the king, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the king would be known as Braveheart Spell. Yeah.
And would he be an Alfeld as well? An Owlet?
The king, no. The king's not an Alfolk. Absolutely not. No. The king is just a normal just a normal human for now.
And our general that we report to?
General is known as Deadman Reaper Hamlet.
Okay, we've got load shedding at the moment, but we've got a what do you call it?
UPS.
as well.
Okay.
But we've just lost life, so no more item.
No, that's okay. I will put this all in the. I will send everyone an update, but I've got the names here, so don't worry. Yeah, like this Alfolk is still like, as he's finished one wheel of cheese, you see him immediately grab another one. And
Rico, you might want to just save some for the rest of us, please. I don't want to. I know I'm not your captain, and I don't want to get into it really. But I mean, there's common courtesy. All of us need something.
Kind of takes out the sword and cuts it in half. So there's like half a wheel of cheese, and he's like, fair point. And then he kind of pushes that half of wheel of cheese aside, and he grabs like a loaf of bread, and he starts like just mashing them together, right? And just starts going to town on those two.
That's fine. You got what you wanted.
Can I just express that Fafaris at this point will have the most disgusted look on his face, witnessing this sacrilege of not respecting bread.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He didn't even cut the French loaf, right? He just kind of mushed it together with the cheese. And he kind of like lets out a big belch, and he's like, well, breakfast is done. All right, back to training, I guess. Kind of starts waddling off.
We know he's got a high constitution at the least.
Yep.
Is our whole squad here?
I would say your whole squad is there, yes.
Because I see two members, and I know it's
the puking one.
Yeah. Xanon and I think your whole squad is there. If I
It's
see...
just Gramon that's not here, right?
6. Yes. And for Ferris, are you there? Yeah, I'll move you there. There we go.
I don't see the.
Oh, I was.
There's the
Uh,
token.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Okay, just hold on. For Ferris is there as a wrong, fine.
Yeah.
Orman is down here left.
Oh.
Then Everard is the artificer. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
with this new recruit coming in, I totally forgot about the fact that I said whoever was going to come in last needed to do cannons. Not intelligent enough to remember those things. Xanon isn't here to remind me, so
Yeah, I went into the kitchen to add some milk to my honey wine and find some grapes and fruit.
Mm-hmm. All right.
DM, what would be the next step after breakfast? What do we need to do?
Well, you know that you could go as normal. You could go say your daily go to the clergy, right? There's a chapel, or you could go to the smithery, or you could go to any sort or the library, or you could go straight to training if you wish. There are several options at the moment.
If the squad doesn't mind, I think my suggestion would be that the regime that we follow is get up, get your breakfast, go do some training, and then they've got some time off for themselves, and then we see if there's any mission or instructions from above. Otherwise, we do our second round of training and then go back to bed in the evening.
So this whole thing will take place over one day. So you can take at least 3 long rests if you want.
Okay, so there's a lot to do.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Right now, you start to see as you are entering, as one of the Beatbog leaves. He goes out in one of the rooms there. You start to actually see another person enter. This time you see the pristine of a... Just trying to find it over there. Where is he? Oh, there it is. You start to see the pristine of a very tall. And I would say you smell him before you actually see him, right? It's a familiar scent. Wafts down the hall. It's a scent of money. And as he starts to come into the room, you almost start taken back by his golden hair as one of the high lords, one of the noble houses, Lord Zemo, comes in and he says, it's good to see a squad actually take in food before they go training. Too many of your squad members just go and faint on the battlefield. This is quite good to see in early hours. Now, tell me, what kind of activities or plans do you have today? He kind of points both to Nemo, Xanon as captains. What have you got arranged for your squad today?
Okay, DM, 2 things.
Yeah.
What is our relationship or feelings towards this person? Do we like him, or are we?
I also want to know what my personal feelings are or connection is to the Brewman house.
It's not that you don't like him. You just know he can be a bit full of himself at times. Typical, High Lord, right? He hasn't given you any reason to hate him, nor has he done anything to make you feel that he's trying to undermine you. But you get the feeling that, he's always after his own gain. He will do things for the Duchy, for the protection of the schism, as long as it always benefits him in some way. But like I said, you don't it's not that you trust him, it's just like you know what he is, right? And he hasn't done anything explicitly bad to alter that, to make you worry about anything yet, right? As for your relationship to the Brooman house, you know it to be a very well-respected house. Even though Lord Zemo has only been the head of the house for about a year. The previous head had gone to a different kingdom to investigate if another schism had opened there. And he has, and because of travel, you know that the previous head is okay. You know this within the the communication that you've received, but he's going to be another 3 months before he travels back, before he's able to come back into the Duchy.
So we could say Zemo is just like a temporary stand-in for the Brooman
That's
house leadership.
Yeah, temporary standing, but he was handpicked by the noble of the previous head of the noble house. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll answer him asking us what we'll be doing. I'll walk around the table, and I have this. Xenon is a very tall satyr, like a tall person. And as I'm walking and talking, it's like this black vignette forms behind me to sort of focus your eyes on me. And I'll say to him, well, today I would like to, if you would allow, be permitted to go into the laboratory to see what is happening there.
He just wants to see the weird experiments and creatures and whatever else you got put up in there. He's very inquisitive like that.
And I whisper into my collar as he says that.
Well, yes, there is a lab. There's a small laboratory. You are allowed to go, of course, into the.
I asked because the door is locked. I have already tried to go.
I see. Well, I do know that my brother keeps it quite secure. That's more of his department, you know. I'm more of the arranging of armies, arranging fighters, things like that. I can try and get him to let you in there.
I'll throw over him and be like, yes, that would be wise, I think. And I try and intimidate him a little bit.
Okay, roll intimidation.
Okay.
Captain intimidating her.
Yeah.
When he walked in,
Yes.
can I do a survival check to see if I can smell any Fey Fiend or undead coming off of him?
Of course. You. Here's the thing. I'll get to Xanon first, right? And you can do your survival check. Xanon, you try to intimidate him. But as you are attempting to intimidate him, you feel the presence that he's someone who can rarely be intimidated, or he has come up against someone who is far more intimidating than you. So you don't succeed, but he does say, I can see you are extremely curious about what happens there. I can't promise that I will be able to get my brother to agree, but I will ask. Maybe he can give you a tour about what is happening. I do know that the creatures from the schisms are in constant experiment. Like he tries to experiment on them quite a lot, and tries to understand them. And it is not for a reason, because the sense that we are understanding is that if you are not strong enough, you will be the word now corrupted into something. We just don't quite understand what yet.
Duo.
Yeah?
Nima has a passive insight of 19.
Yes.
But if necessary, I'd like to roll to see if it can be higher. I want to check whether or not this guy is actually, if he might be keeping any information from us. Like he's trying to give us some, but there's something he's hiding away. Like it might be suspicious.
Okay.
So
You
in
can.
line with what we're doing.
Yeah, you can roll for your insight. I will. Armin, you can roll for your survival. Also, because yeah, 24. Okay. Okay, so you said I'm gonna get to Armin first, then I'll get to you, Nemo. Armin, what did you want to look for again? You wanted phase, fiends, or undead, right?
Yes, so I got a natural 20 on my survival. I'm
Yeah.
just looking to see if I can get any Fey Fiend or undead off of him. There's been this thing that's been nagging at me lately. So I'm checking every person I interact with.
Oh, yeah, you get yeah, you get that good sense of a lot of fiends. And it's actually a mixture of all three, but there is a strong, very strong sense of I'm going to just yes, there's a very strong, almost extremely powerful undead smell that is coming from him.
And
Yeah.
dead.
DM, can I
Undead.
also is it open knowledge, like public knowledge, who his brother is, or would I have to roll check for that?
No, I'll ask you to roll a check because you wouldn't know.
Is that a history?
That would be a history, yes. And Nemo wanted to know if he is trying to lead you into something, right?
If he's hiding any information or being deceitful when he's trying to tell Xanon, give Xanon an answer about his brother and what happens in the lab.
As far as you can tell, no, he's being completely honest, right?
Okay.
He's pretty like as a captain, you would know that yeah, his brother does do a lot of experiments in the lab, and often those experiments have resulted in some deaths. But you wouldn't tell your squad this, you wouldn't tell the recruits this, because usually the deaths are people that are lab assistants that know that this is dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's probably gonna happen. Absolutely right. Ferris, yeah, you would know. You've heard rumors of his brother. Absolutely. You would know that his brother is named Hammer.
And do I know like any like maybe rumors that's been going around between the two brothers, like any bad blood feuds or any arguments or disagreements that's been rumored to go around between the two?
No, you would know they're pretty close, right? They're immense. They're even though they view things and sometimes approach things in the opposite way. You know, Zemo is definitely more the direct approach, right? He will try and fight something than rather understand it. Hammond would rather understand something than fight it.
Like our two captains.
Yeah, exactly. Just worked out that way, unfortunately. It just worked out that way.
Very
I
good.
yeah, you were gonna play it like that, but that's how it worked out. I wrote this a week ago, so yeah, that's how it's gonna happen.
I would
Um,
say, Demo, just if you can put in a good word, I would like to assist with whatever is going on behind those doors.
Yeah, I can. I will have to just make sure that he is. You would have to, of course, get some sort of protection. It's not easy to do this. Maybe you could go visit the chapel. Maybe there is a woman there that could help you get some sort of protection. You know, her and I have not seen eye to eye many a times, but she does know more of what we're fighting, what is coming out of the schism than most of us. And she's proven extremely useful. But again, this is I wouldn't advise just going in there now.
That is fair.
Zaman, are you trying to ditch us again? You know I like having you on the battlefield with us. You need to get out a little bit more. You're very introverted all the time.
I've been to every training assigned to me.
I know, and you've done wonderfully, but still. Okay, but now the thing is, as a captain, do I know that everybody can do their own thing during the day, or do we do it as a group?
You would know it's better to do it as a group. You are allowed free time, of course, but during this time of the day, you would have to do it as a group or split up your party into two smaller groups. Like maybe you would assign someone to go study here because you are two captains, so you're allowed to do that. But essentially, your goal has to be the same, right? Yeah.
before we move on from this, there's just a couple of things I'd like to know about Zemo and stuff. What's the relationship between House Gallender and Bruman, and how long ago was the schism?
The schism happened about 500 years ago.
Okay, long old history.
Old history, yeah. It happened about 500 years ago.
Even for us, the captains, 500 years from where we are.
Yes, even for you. Yeah. If we from where the normal campaign takes place, it's about 700 years. So yeah, so you went back 200 years. Yeah. It's old history, and you wanted to know the relationship
between House Gallender and House Bruman.
Gallender and House Bruman. Gallender is your house. Yeah.
I think it's actually Harringbrand.
Harringbrand. That's it. Yeah.
Harringbrand.
Yeah. It's character sheet has.
Yeah. So yeah, because I did. So you would know that there are only 6 noble houses, right, at the present time. There are rumors of expanding the nobility because as the duchy grows, more and more commerce, are more opportunity for people to protect the city, and more commerce is growing. So there needs to be more nobility in order to manage all of these commerce and shops and everything like that. Harrington is also, they don't always get along, right? There have been some bad blood between them in the past, but nothing serious, right? They often they also can be seen in the. You also know there's probably the Gisgo is probably around somewhere in the castle. You haven't seen him yet, but he's probably around because noble houses at this point in time, all the nobility, all the heads actually resided in the castle, to make sure that the trade and to make sure the communication was always flowing directly from the castle to the nobility. You know that also that Gisgo doesn't always agree with what Zemo and his brothers are doing.
Oh, all the better for my liking.
Yeah.
Then, DM, in terms of activities for the day, what are some of the options? You said what are the training
You
options?
can, so some of the options that you all can go to, right? You can go to the training area, which is actually just like it is below you right now. It's just to the south of the kitchen, right?
Fighting
go
arena with dummies and targets, or
it's just basically like a little garden area where it's targets and it's dummies and stuff like that. Or you can fight against yourselves for no damage. This is training. You can also go to you can also go on watch for a while, just see and observe the schism. This is where you could observe to see where the bug went, right? So he went up here. He went to observe the schism, just up here. And this is mainly done for recruits, as there's so much protective magic around the schism that nothing. If anything does come out, it is almost immediately frozen in place and then taken away. But it's the first real job that every recruit has to go through to understand it. You can also go to the laboratory or to the library of the room, right? Or I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to reveal the whole map, right? So that it's a bit easier for everyone. Or you could go to the chapel where you've heard of this woman being around, right? Or you could go to the other barracks and talk to the other the other people from the squad. I'm gonna reveal the whole map now so everyone can see all the rooms. There we go.
DM,
Mhm.
before we continue on, I rolled a perception check to kind of just keep
Yeah.
an eye on everyone and because there's been a lot of questions going on, and a lot of interaction between everyone with Zemo. So I kind of just want to keep an eye on everyone to see if I don't realize any kind of like body language that would suggest something from anyone towards Zemo, if possible.
Yeah.
I would be checking him out a little bit.
Yeah. You do see a lot of, I will say this, as Zemo is there and more of the students of the guards and the guards come into the main dining hall, you do see all of them kind of give him this kind of weird look, as they respect him, but at the same time they kind of don't trust him, right? Because they've all heard the rumors that he's very much a warmonger, doesn't really care for the lives of soldiers that much, and he's earned that sort of reputation. Like, he doesn't mind throwing people into battle as long as the job gets done, right?
I see.
Yeah, so they can't do anything because he's nobility, but again, they can't. But they all, like, their eyes talk for themselves. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, it's kind of. I just wanted to see if I can't like see from my own party and just general like in general people's just body language or something towards them.
Yeah, you could. I would say from your own party, everyone is visibly uncomfortable when Zemo came. Yeah, wasn't it like everyone kind of has heard the rumors before? Yeah.
Okay, all good. Thank you.
He asked us the question what our activities was going to be, and if the party doesn't mind me talking and assigning them stuff to do, they can always just chime up and say, well, I'd rather like to do something else. They know me as a captain to be flexible. So I know Xanon's doing his own thing. I'd say, well, for Ferris, you've got some new weapon training, so you can, the two of us can go down and do some sparring. I know one of you, and then I'll be looking at one of the others. Was keen to go to the schism and go see it for the first time. So who's up for that? And whoever puts up their hand can go. And then whoever's left out can do whatever they want. But the instruction is they need to report back to me later and give me a full report of what they found out. Because I would probably know something and be able to tell whether or not they were lying and didn't do anything and were lazy. And they know if they lied to me, which is something I can probably sniff out quite easily. There's got to be some consequences. And I'm not unfair. So I'm quite a chill captain. Give them some flexibility.
We are in game. So where do we say in game Cramon is?
Cramon is still in his room at the moment.
Okay.
So you can actually still hear him like throwing up. So
I think
whatever he had was terrible.
I'll probably get one of before when we leave. I'll just quickly pop in somewhere or send a message to the nearest infirmary or nurse or whoever to say, just go check in on my one recruit in the barracks.
And as the only other wizard in our group, I will be dismayed that Cramon is not with me to study and go see what's happening in the laboratory.
Actually, if you don't mind, Xanon, I'll keep you company. I'll like to see some of these experiments myself.
Remember, you cannot cook them, eh?
That's Erebor, correct?
Ibala, yeah.
Ibala, sorry.
Yeah.
No wonder the food from our side was a bit fishy.
You got to experiment a bit. I mean, variety is the spice of life, right? No spice in my cooking.
It takes me a second and I chime in and I'm like, oh, because he's an orc. That's funny. And then I walk out.
Okay.
I guess I'm following.
Are you coming?
Well, I was ordered by my captain to spar with him, so I'll probably follow orders.
Okay.
Just quickly,
Yes.
would this be the first ever sort of interaction that Armin has had with Zemo, or have there been past interactions?
I would say, yeah, so definitely Xanon and Nemo, you've had interactions with him. For the rest of your squad, this is the first time you've actually seen him or interacted with him.
Okay, that's cool.
You've heard the rumors of him. You've never actually just interacted with him at all.
But DM, why would he come checking in on us? If we've got generals that we report to, what is his role then within this? Let's call it a compound or
Yeah.
What's his role?
His role.
Why would he have to come and speak to us and check up?
He just wanted to come speak to a squad, and you were available.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Right.
he just wanted a squad to talk to. This is not unknown to you. Nobles will often come into the into like the dining hall and speak to squads and find out what they're doing, how are they doing, are they okay, things like that.
Are the different houses responsible for different things? Like one would be financially supporting the what do we call this? The resistance.
The resistance. Different houses can often. They all pay tribute to the castle in some way, so they all have to pay a type of tax, right? So often nobilities, as I said, like the noble heads all reside here in the castle. and they like to see where their money is being spent.
Thought so. Okay.
Yeah, so it's more like they want to. They would have spoken to different captains, of course, and making sure that they get their like. It's not unknown that a noble house might have a favorite squad, but they just want to make sure that if they're paying a certain amount, it's going to good use.
So if they've got a favorite squad, do they sometimes, like a good patron, spoil that squad?
It's not unheard of. But it might be like certain noble houses they might give the squad like they won't give the squad different types of weapons, but maybe you get maybe instead of staying in a barracks, right, you will start to stay in a private house just outside of the just outside of the castle.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of that the nobility would do this. Yeah.
The fairest that you actually want to do something else.
Renault, whatever your order is, Captain, I will follow.
I mean, it's just the two of us. It's not really an order. I mean, if you really wanted to do something else, I know you've been very excited about quite a few passions. So, I mean, we can sort something out.
No, it's fine. It's good practice. You never know. Sometimes you need to fight, gain a little bit of muscle.
Well, we need to see if that blade of yours is balanced and whether or not you can. I mean, going from a two-handed weapon to something like that, you're going to need some training.
He's going to look at the curved blade and he would not comprehend how a curved sword would be balanced. So he will have like this very confused look while looking on his face while he's looking at the blade. And then just put it back and just give up. Like you'll see that just like expression when you just give up on something to try and understand it and you just continue. Like he'll just accept it and just move on.
Okay. I will be going to the clergy. Where is that on the map?
Yeah,
The blue. It will be so the clergy is. I'll draw a little line for you. If we go brush, so you go down here, you go there, and there is the church over there.
Got it.
Right? Yeah. On the opposite side, you find the library and the labs directly opposite. Yeah, that would be the library. That is the lab, and down here, this is where the training compound is. Right?
Okay, got it. So I will invite Ibelar, who showed an interest, to join me in the clergy,
Okay.
in the church.
Are you at all invested in the recruits' performance?
Not at all.
And growth?
Honest answer.
Shame.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? 0.
And I'm the opposite.
I actually got a question about that because we are level 11. Like, how long have we been training together?
Yeah, you've been training together for about your squad has come up through the ranks, right?
My character's been here for 3 years.
Yeah. So you've been training together for about 3 years, and you've had the captains for about 2, because the first year was general training, right? So you've learned to trust these captains, and you've learned to trust your squad.
Yeah. And then as we were walking, I was like, hey, hold on. When he was talking about protection, what kind of protection do you think he meant?
From the corruption of the schism. What do you mean? How do you? And I'll be suspicious because he's not sounding like he knows what's going on in this world. Are you?
To be honest, I think I lost. I didn't 100% hear that, so I was Overlaw was perhaps more interested in his food than what Zemo was saying.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And it's protection against the corruption from the schism, so that we do not become one of its monstrosities.
Yeah, that would be quite unfortunate.
It would. It would.
Would that be something that we all know?
No, only the captains would know that right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you've just told something really powerful, because for you, the fixer, you've never heard of been corrupted or anything like that. So this is like you still quite don't understand what being corrupted means, but you understand protection, of course.
To me, it's just knowledge should be shared.
Mhm.
Is my feeling, and I'm oblivious to this is supposed to be a secret or not. It's irrelevant to me. But
DM, has our squad, not the two captains, the rest, have they actually faced off against anything from the schism?
No.
Isn't it like the our South African army? They're there, but they've never done anything.
Everything is in theory.
Like your squad has faced off against different things, but you don't know what is you've trained, like, put it this way, you fought orcs before, you fought goblins, you fought undead before. You've never really faced anything from the schism. You've never really seen anything from the schism.
Okay.
Yeah, so even the captains have never really seen anything from the schism. But you know, like, your orders are to be ready just in case something happens.
Okay. Got it.
so
DM, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
I quickly just want to have before I actually mission off with Nemo, I quickly just want to ask an out of character question. My character, do they have any like religious connections, beliefs to like a certain deities or anything like that I need to know of?
Are you religious? As far as I know, you're a fighter, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm asking, is because, like, would I have some connection, like, any reason why I would want to go to the clergy that I'm not maybe aware of?
I would, like, if you want to roll religion, you can. If you feel you have to, but generally speaking, no, because only people that are
Even as
clerics,
a ASMR?
even as an even as one, you wouldn't generally,
Okay.
because it's just like you're a fighter. That's who you are. You know that clerics and of religions, but it's not like, unless you want to actively take a part in it, it doesn't bother you that much, right?
Okay. I just quickly wanted to check that so I am playing my character correctly.
No, if you want to roll,
as an artificer, is quite a unique combination.
No, I'm just because I don't know. There's some things that out of character I'm putting together, but I want to know if my character would actually have an interest and trying to find out certain things. It's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
you can roll religion if you want. Let's see how, like, if somehow you felt connected. Nope. Okay. Yeah. So like you've at time you've been in there, but you've never really felt the spirit, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Then I'll just follow Nemo, but I would like to just give a sniff as we walk out of the room to kind of just see if I can't smell in what directions Zemo came from when he entered.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Roll a perception.
Would I be able to do that with survival?
Yeah, you could do that with survival. I'm happy with that. He's got a very, very pungent cologne, so yes, absolutely. Yes, the direction Nemo came from, as he's kind of, well, you can see him still walking around the castle. He definitely came from down here. That's where he came from.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Aman, what are you doing before we go to the?
So I reckon by this point I'm like the last one in the dining room because I was just a bit like frozen in place.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get any orders or offer any suggestions of what I want to do, I'm gonna just go on like patrol, and I'm just gonna walk around, just check things out, do a little bit of a watch duty here and there, like check in on the different rooms, make sure everything is fine. But in reality, what I want to be doing is I want to be sniffing out any sort of Feyfiend or undead smell that I might find or pick up on. I know that Zemo is very undead, so that's really piqued my interest.
Yeah.
But I also want to see if I can find my way while I'm patrolling and doing a little bit of a guard. Is there like a treasury, a safe room, a place where important items are kept?
There are several. You
Yeah,
know
no.
of two on the you know of at least two on this floor. There are some on the next floor below. Adjusting my glasses, yeah. Yes. So the ones that are safe. There's a safe room over here, right? Behind the lab. And this is usually kept for different types of elements, different types of rare ore, and they just keep it like it's a small safe room, but it is quite secure. And then, of course, there is a safe room in the clergy, of course, as always, where they start to keep their, like any sort of religious artifacts that, or anything that could be used to heal someone immensely if they were or resurrect someone if they were dead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I'll start like a counterclockwise sort of patrol. So I'll check in down by the laboratory first. Because I mean, like the staff around the castle, we talk, and they've mentioned that there have been rumors and gossip that things have started going missing. So I'm going to go investigate while under the ruse of patrolling and guarding and trying to sniff out those things that I've been smelling a lot lately.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then we're gonna go back into the back into the clergy. We're gonna begin with you, Xanon and Fixer. You kind of walk into this room with immense blue light. Very bright at first, but as you enter, kind of your eyes start to adjust, and you just feel calm. Like as you enter, it's almost just like whatever you were thinking about just washes over you. You see a very humble dwarf as he starts wearing robes, and he has this rosary that he's holding, and around the rosary you can see a symbol of what appears to be a eagle, a bird of some kind. And he kind of greets you, and he said, "Are you here to pray, to receive Her blessing.
I will sort of bow my head and say, I'm here for a blessing, so I can get into the lab, please.
Ah, yes, the lab, of course. There is quite a few dangerous creatures down there. The lab itself can be harsh on the eyes if you are not ready for this. I will guide you in her name, and he kind of like waves his hands, and as you feel the blessing upon you, you feel almost as at ease, but empowered in a way that you can face anything that you see. And he kind of like, in Mercy's name, protect thee. And he kind of looks to you, the fixer, and he says, do you also wish to have a blessing?
Yes, is this protection?
It is a form of protection, yes. Um, the the creatures in the lab are unlike anything we've ever seen. Looking upon them has made several people mad before.
That is very deeply concerning.
Yes, and
What?
we found that only Mercy's blessing has stopped it.
I'll like turn my head to the side and look at the dwarf and ask, how many blessings has Lord Hammon received?
He has, as Lord Ammon is a cleric of mercy, he has almost infinite blessing. He does not need to. He does not need to have a lot of blessings on him. He has enough faith in her to protect himself. But his assistants, his lab partners have all become that did not have faith have started to change. Their bodies have been slowly corrupted, and it's even become a sight to look at them. Their flesh warps and morphs into different things.
I'll whisper into my fur collar and then look at Elaban and say, no need for a blessing, recruit. I think we will not take that risk today.
I will certainly take the blessing.
You can take the blessing. You don't have to go into the. You don't have to go into the.
The death lab.
Yes, you can still receive the blessing.
If you insist, it's if you insist, Xanon, I mean, I know it sounds dangerous, but my curiosity is very much piqued.
My curiosity is better tended to in the library, and I say as I leave to go to the library. Not very bothered by what you choose to do, to be honest.
I will grab the blessing, and then follow after Xanon while I just think about what I've heard for a bit. Perhaps if I might run into this old bird hunter Arnhem. See if I run into Arnhem at any point.
All right. So again, the dwarf gives you the blessing, and does the whole thing. Then we go to you, Nemo, and Ferris. What are you two doing? Are you going?
I'm just assuming that the training ground is the green area, right?
Yeah, it's the training ground. So that's the training ground, and then you've got some archery ranges, and you've got some training dummies down there. So it's various, like, that's the main training ground. Where the haystacks are, those are the archery ranges, and then of course the next room is like the next sort of training area that you can go towards.
Okay. I'll wait for instruction from my captain.
Okay, so as we would have moved there, every now and again I would probably in the corridors just greet a few people I know. Some with he's very like a frat boy. When he gets to a person, he grabs their hand, bring them on for a little shoulder to shoulder bump, with a pat on the back and say, "It's nice to see you again, Brew," or whatever. And then with a few other people, he would put his hands together, like any yoga instructor or person that does yoga, and he'd go like "Namaste." He's a bit of he's an athlete. He's a bit of a wanderer, a spiritual soul.
Quoting Xenon, he's a bit of a hippie.
Sure. We get to the training grounds, and I think you would know that we stand at a certain distance away from each other. We ready our weapons, and then it's sparring time.
All right. If you want to spar against each other, you can, but you can also instruct the training grounds to give you dummies to spar with, if you feel
Okay.
you need
I
to.
feel like Nemo's a more hands-on person.
Yes.
All right.
So you know what the
He's
options
gonna
are.
beat his recruit.
No. Before we start, I'm gonna say, well, you can get me today at 20%, 50%, or 100%. How difficult do you want it to be?
Normal. And if his boots could shiver it, well, kind of.
Okay, wait, hold on. I didn't get that. So what difficulty level?
It's normal. It's like it's beginner level. It's like he
Beginner level.
is not comfortable fighting
Okay.
in close combat, even though he's been fighting for 3 years or training
Okay.
for 3 years.
So I think my typical AC is 20. I think I'll dip it down just a little bit so that it's 18
Okay.
for this session, and then also I won't be doing damage.
Okay. Yeah, you can essentially, what I will allow you to do is show off your weapon, just to show what it can do.
Right.
As well as you, for Ferris, if you want to show off your abilities, you can. But you won't be doing damage, you would just be rolling to hit, right?
Yeah, this is
So-
sparring.
Yeah, it's just sparring, yes. So for now, we could do a mini. So I'll open up the combat, and I'm just gonna ask for Ferris and Nemo, just roll for initiative. See who goes first, right?
Oh, he's gonna go first. That's fine.
Okay.
And
I would
John
still
will
like
need
to roll initiative because it's always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Just roll. Yeah, it's always.
Jeez.
Oh, well, Ferris is going to go first. You trained him very well, Nemo. You trained him to attack first. All
It's like,
right.
I
so-
did not shoot first, okay?
Yeah. All right. Let's see, for Ferris, how are you going to attack your?
Well, with my shield in my left arm and my scimitar on my right, he will take a slice at his seemingly unguarded captain.
Yeah. Just roll for attack.
which misses.
Yeah, Nemo probably just sidesteps.
But I still have 2 more. Because I'm a fighter. This, all I do is
Yeah.
swing.
That's fair.
And I still miss. It's better, but still misses.
And it's every time it's his palm. I'm just palming away your hits.
He's getting better with each roll, but it
Yeah,
still misses.
You see him like these would be like warm-ups for you. You know he's getting there. Each one is good is significantly better than the last one. Yeah.
That is my turn. I just want to see bonus action if I can do something. Yeah, no, that's all I would. Actually, hold up. Oh no, I can't do it with this character. Never mind. I'm confusing it with Ushi. Oh, in my turn.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah. All right. Nemo, how would you respond?
Okay, at this point, I'll probably tell him, listen, you need to, you can't be holding back like that. I know I am, but you need to go all out. Doesn't matter what happened last night, you need to bring it. And then also just start giving him some encouraging, constructive criticism, advice on when I dodge one of his hits. I'll give him some instruction on how to maybe counter that, or you need to get your footwork right, or you need to watch your blind spot, things like that. But I am going to make one attack.
Okay.
With an unarmed strike.
Wow.
And
That
you
definitely hits.
You get a tap somewhere on your head on the backside with my backhand as I dodge one of your hits.
Okay. As you do that, you'll see kind of a slight shimmer cover for Forest. And I'm gonna use my reaction to interact with my wondrous item, my Orb of Perpetual Resistance. So I'm gonna spend 1 charge.
Yes.
So for the next 4 rounds, I have resistance to that bludgeoning damage or whatever type of damage he was doing.
Okay.
Just for a thematical effect, you know? He said me to not like hold back, so...
Yeah. Yes. That would have been normal bludgeoning damage, sure, okay.
Yep.
Not that we're taking damage, but like just for purposes of training.
Yeah, just for purposes. I'll actually give you that charge back for purposes of training. So that's fine. So it's just like to show off like how you could move around in this character in your past self. But yes. So you the orb kind of shimmers as your whole body kind of glows a kind of yellowy hue as it activates, and you feel you can take a bit more bludgeoning than you used to. Yeah, do you try and do another attack, Ferris, or?
Oh, that was my reaction in his turn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Nemo, are you going to do another attack?
No, just the one for now.
Just the one for now. Okay. So we'll do another sort of quick round before we move on. What about Ferris? Would you like to attack again, or would you like to do something a bit different?
Okay, so since my amazing, strong captain is goading me into not holding back, I'm gonna bonus action, expend one of my superiority die for a fainting attack. So I'm gonna give myself advantage on the next attack roll.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna expend that superiority die, and if I'm not mistaken, the damage would be added. I just want to double check that so I know for an actual fight. Choosing you have talks. Yeah, so the damage roll. Okay, yeah. And then I will make a attack with advantage against our captain, which is a nat 20.
Oh wow! All right. Good. Okay, so what kind of damage? Like you can roll damage. This is you. I'm not gonna say you damage him, but I just want to see how you would roll damage on this.
Okay, cool. So that would so be one. It's max, right? Plus
Yeah.
what I roll. So it's a D10 plus a D6. So that's 16 guaranteed damage. Oh, well, sorry, no. That's 20 guaranteed damage because of the +4 from the scimitar. And then that would be. Oh no, why is it rolling 5? So I'm supposed to roll 1. We'll just take the first one it rolled, which was a 5. Plus 6. So 11. Oh no, so 10 plus 5, 15. So a total of 35 damage would have been dealt.
Okay. All right. So
That's fantastic.
you're very impressed by this. You know that your recruit finally like tapped into something that he could do, and you're taken back by this.
Yeah, it kind of will probably like if faint with like one of his bad swings that he just did the previous round, and then faint into like redirecting his swing and maybe just catching you a little bit off guard.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, and then I'll probably just for the thematic part of it, I'll just roll 2 more attacks.
Okay.
I don't think there is anything I can do. Click check, ambush, no, goading attack. Oh, actually, I'll make a goading attack because why not? That's only if I hit though, so let's see if I hit. 22. I think that will hit, right?
As far as I can,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
will hit.
Because he said it loaded to 18 or 16.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
18.
And then 18. So then I'll expend the spiritual dice to have him make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
So that is a DC of 16.
17.
Okay, so you see I'm trying to goad you, but you don't fall for it.
I start just not laughing, but I've got a smirk on my face as I see what you try to do.
Yeah, and then I'll just one last attack just for the fun of it. And with my failure, I just completely miss.
Okay.
Ah, getting a little bit overzealous there. You're doing fine for a while. Get your focus back.
All right. And how are you going to? Are you going to attack Nemo?
Yep. Okay. So he seems to be getting back into the spirit of things. So I am going to make. How do I do this? Okay. So I take my staff, get my staff ready, and I'm going to make one attack with the staff. That's a 17.
Which
Yeah.
it hits. My AC is 16.
I just tap him on one of his weak or open spots. And then I will, if I can, do a few backflips all the way to the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a lot of feet. Wait, I need to get to 20 feet away.
20 feet. Yeah.
He can't make an opportunity attack because I'm mobile. That's my feat.
Okay.
So that allows me, if I make an attack, hit or miss, you don't get an opportunity attack. And then from that distance, I will throw my spear at him.
Yes.
Which is a 28.
Yeah.
That definitely hits.
Okay. And when it hits you, how is it going to hit? That's the maybe just it grazes him. Just like,
Well,
there's
it does hit him, but it doesn't do any damage because you don't want to do any damage, right?
Yeah.
You could actually just throw it on the other side instead of the sharp side. You're throwing it on the back side of the spear.
And then you see me hold out my hand, and it just flips back into my hand from that. And then I come rushing in back again because I've got 55 feet of movement. And then I start wailing on you. So I'm going to use one bonus action to do Flurry of Blows. So I get 2 extra attacks. Just making sure. I think that gives me 2 extra attacks. That's on unarmed strikes. A 12. And a 17 again.
The 12 misses, the 17 hits.
Okay, now that we start getting in closer to each other and being more up in each other's face. Just a little bit about the appearance of Nemo. Nemo is always he's always got very loose fitting cloth pants on. He never wears a shirt. So his blue skin is showing, and then you again are reminded of the various, it looks like tattoos of little stars all around his body. That will come into effect later.
All right.
Awesome.
So it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
gonna
the
end-
DM is gonna cut it short there, just for training purposes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end there. I will say this goes on for quite some time, but I just wanted both of you just to get that kind of training, get used to it. We are gonna go to you, Amun. Where are you going to? What are you up to now?
I am walking with purpose.
Yeah.
Looking around. I'm sniffing the air every now and then, trying to smell if there have been any traces of fey fiends or undeads around.
Right, that's right.
Now that I know that Zemo is around and I know what he smells like, we're ignoring what he smells like, so we're looking for other things.
Absolutely.
And then I'm just going room by room, looking in, but I'm also looking to see if there might be any places where items, materials, things could be like stored secretly, as if someone were trying to hide them.
Yes. All right. So just make me a quick survival or perception check. I'm just gonna clear up some of the drawings here. Clear up all of these drawings over here for now. I know.
It's a dirty 20.
That's fine. That's fine. So as you are sniffing around for face fiend undead, you smell more undead than fiends, and you start to smell quite a powerful undead. As you know, Nemo did have this very powerful undead, a presence on him, and you smelled that. You also start to smell various. Put it this way: you start to smell a lot of things that you're not quite. They're very powerful. You don't quite know how to place them in the sense of how would I try to, like, I know what these are. I can't quite place them, put it that way. If you want to try and figure out what kind of undead you are smelling, I'll make you roll a history or arcana roll before we go.
19 Arcana.
Fantastic. Oh. You always get the nice pictures, don't you?
Oh no, more pictures, more nosebleeds. Oh no. Like, Earl Barman's mind is not built like a steel trap like Malice is, so he might go a bit crazy by the time this is over.
Yeah, but you went searching, so I got you. Yeah. Yeah. You do recognize 2 distinct smells. Right? The one you don't quite understand. It's very powerful and very old. However, the two that you do recognize, this is, I will send you a picture now. You immediately remember what this thing is because you've, in your studies and in your hunting, you know what this thing is. It's called an Eldridge Lich.
Oh lord.
And
we've heard scarier stuff, trust.
yeah, you've definitely heard scarier stuff. And yeah, he if you want, you like I sent you a picture of what he looks like. And you can try and describe it to your party when you get back. But yeah,
So I know for certain that I'm picking up this thing
yeah, you
nearby. It's somewhere nearby.
yes, because in your character's past, in your studying, you have fought enough and you've studied enough being a blood hunter that you know that this is a type of eldritch. This is a very powerful eldritch lich that is round. That somehow is round.
Okay. So I'm going to forget about looking for hidden stashes of things, and I'm gonna follow this thing's trail. I want to know where it's coming from.
Okay. I will send you the other one. The other one you find is called a Skull Lord. That you see. And where it's coming from, right? As you've been sniffing, you stopped kind of. You realize that they're all coming from downstairs. Down here. Where Zemo came from.
Okay. I remember that more action-oriented captain said he was gonna go do some fighting, so I'm gonna go find him.
Okay. That's fair. All right. If we, it's always down. Yeah, why is it always down? Well, this is the ground floor. You can't go any higher.
No, but it's the horror theme. It's like it's always this down. Like that's where the nonsense happens.
Yeah, of course. That's always where the nonsense happens. Let's go to the Fixer and Xanon. What are you two up to at the moment? Are you going to the library? Are you?
I already am in the library, and I'm just continuing my own personal research into whatever magics I don't know, and the schism and all of that. Just one-on-one business.
One-on-one business. Okay, I need you to roll an investigation check.
Would you be more inclined to want to know about the wards, about the things that created the schism?
As much as I can about anything about the schism and what my magic can do.
As you start to, you see that there are several books that say reference restricted, right, for protection against corruption. Get Hamon's approval before reading certain books. As you start to look towards the books, you start to find that certain books tell you, again, this is very well-known history, the schism was 500 and so odd years ago, after the Great Battle. things started to come out of it. In order to protect the world, the Duchy was built around the schism, and therefore the Grand Duchy, the castle, the people are all here for the same purpose. What is known about said schism is that it was caused by what everyone understands is a battle of celestial power.
Mm-hmm.
One of the books references how a god had actually fell to earth. She was battling a great evil, but she had failed, and because she had failed, she fell to earth, and the schism was the star of that battle. And how to protect this world, she had instructed certain people, individuals, to build forms of locks to protect this realm from whatever came out of the schism. And it also told you how these locks are still being built. They haven't been completed yet. There are some that are there are currently, let's say there needs to be at least 12 locks, right? And at current progress, there's only about 8. The other 6 are being built, but they require a lot of energy and time to be built, which is why a lot of the creatures have still been coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have found out. Is there anything else you would like to find?
I mean, that
Not-
demon book
not-
looks interesting.
Not really. I'm sort of taking advantage of the fact that I'm in the Duchy,
Yeah.
just to pursue not only the schism stuff and do my duty, but also personal interests, and using the resources in their huge library. And also comparing their magics to whatever I was taught in the Fey realm, and seeing how it matches up and how it differs, because I do report back to the Fey.
Yes. As you would know, their magic in the Duchy is somehow they know how to do advanced magic, far more powerful than the Fey realm, but they don't. But all of their advanced magic is for one purpose: to protect the world from the schism. It's not used for any other purpose, and it seems to be guided very well by at least 3 people that you can see, right? You can see the familiar seal of blacksmith G, right? It just says like this big G. Then you see again the same symbol of that was in the clergy, right? And then again you see the house symbol of Zemo.
Interesting.
So these 3 seem to be somehow making sure that whatever magic is being used for the singular purpose of protection.
Yeah. So until someone comes to call me for anything, for any purpose, I will be in the library just researching all of this and pondering it, sitting in a chair, seeing if I can connect any dots and make any sense of it, or
Find any secrets.
yes, or have any new musings or innovations come to me.
All right. What about you, the fixer? What are you?
So, Everyone's a bit intrigued about these laboratory goings on, so he wants to go find out a bit more. And if you allow me, DM, I want to say perhaps one of my contacts within the House of Haringbrand might be in the smithy itself. Perhaps someone who I can get information from and occasionally give information back to.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I'll head to the smithy, which is a pretty common place for Erblot to hang out. He spends a lot of time there.
Yeah, the smithy is in fact downstairs. I did say it was upstairs. I apologize. It is downstairs. But there's a small laboratory besides the library that acts as sort of like a mini smithy, like a mini forge. There's a mini forge. There's there where you would go to have quick repairs on weapons and anything that happens there. So you can go there and you can ask. There is someone in there, of course. As you see a very like a tiefling, kind of very broad buff tiefling, kind of hammering away, fixing something, fixing a sword there, and he kind of turns his head. He's like, "Yeah, yes. How can I help you today?"
So, is there somebody there I recognize as being from our house, somebody that I would have dealt with before?
Yes, the definitely you would have dealt with this tiefling before. He kind of very preoccupied with his work, but you would have dealt with him before.
Good morning. Good morning. Just here for just to sharpen some weapons up and perhaps have a bit of a chat.
Oh, of course. Sharpening is mundane, but it is important. What kind of chit chat would you like to talk about?
Urban will go sit himself in front of a grindstone and just start pulling out various tools and weapons and sharpen them. He'll say, I heard about some strange goings on in the laboratory downstairs belonging to, what was it, Hammond Homer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's always strange things going on there. Wouldn't be the first time something has happened. I heard a couple of weeks ago. Someone even died just by. They kept it on the hush hush, but you know, you I can recognize blood on a weapon enough times to know when someone has died from it.
Blood on a weapon. Do you know what they died from?
Well, that's the interesting thing. It was his own weapon. It seemed as if he kind of pulls you in closer. It seems as if he tried to stab his own eyes out.
Ew.
So it is quite disturbing. And of course, even when he had done that, he had still attacked Hammond, I heard, but Hammond being quite witnessed of such things, he was able to incapacitate him quite fast, and unfortunately, he kind of started to. It's very weird. His body started to morph. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard his body started to morph and change, whatnot.
After he had perished.
Yes. After he had perished.
This is all very deeply concerning. I myself heard tell a rumor that there are creatures there that have come from the schism itself. The very sight of whom drives people mad, unless you are given protection from the madness.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
Ooh, I'll give myself some guidance on that.
Yeah.
I'll roll d4 separate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got a high, yeah, of course, yes. You kind of like you've heard quite kind of pulls you in closer while he sets certain things aside, and they almost automatically start to sharpen themselves, right?
Hmm.
He goes, yes, yes. Tell me, have you heard of creatures called aberrations before?
Would I have?
This would be the first time.
No, I can't say I have.
These are the creatures that keep on coming out of the schism. There is no... We don't understand what they are because they seem to be a mismatch of everything. And I know Hammond is trying to understand them, trying to figure out them. But because we've never encountered anything like this before, we are very, very scared about this.
Well, this sounds pretty horrific. Do you know if he's had any kind of success?
I know he's captured several creatures like this, but to try and understand something, I have absolutely no idea. He keeps that. That is why the lab downstairs is severely protected. Even
Very
the master blacksmiths, the main forges downstairs. I know one of them is pulled in mechanical creatures at this moment because they fear that even with the recruits, it has become very dangerous. So yes. Yeah, so that is what I've heard. And he kind of make me a perception check quickly.
Well, I'll keep that guidance up. Oh, not so good.
No, that's fine. It's okay. You kind of see he's trying to pass you a note, but he doesn't quite know how to do it.
I think so. So we'll pull, put down the shopping, reach into his bag, pull out like a schematic, and say, Tommy, I've been working on this design. What do you think of this? Over where the note is.
Yes, and he's like, oh, yes. Of course. And he kind of like says, if you look here, these are, and he kind of points to the note that he was passing, right? And he's like, this is the thing I was talking to you about. You see, if you look at this picture, you can see one of the problems over here, and he starts to hand you a drawing of one of the creatures that he had seen. I'll send you this picture. Give me a moment.
Well, you guys are having all the fun today.
Hey, man.
All the nightmares.
All the nightmares.
I think my DM history with Ryan here is about 50% Eldritch horrors.
Yeah. And he said,
Oh my
this
gosh.
this is kind of what I was talking. You see, this is what happened to one of the other well, you got to be careful because this is what could happen to one of you if you're not careful and don't protect yourself. And he writes the name of the creature down for you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a rather apt name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time. This has been very useful. I appreciate all the advice. These mechanical creatures, these interest me somewhat. What is their manner? Are they like golems?
No. Strangely enough, they seem to be spiders.
Oh,
Yeah, it's he seemed to one of the chiefs, one of the blacksmiths, seems to have a thing for insects. It seems, and he has made some mechanical spiders for now, and it seems to work quite well. But as I said, you know, they seem to want to keep it a bit of a, you know, for protection. They're not going to put them in the front line or anything like that. They are a bit too worried about what might happen.
yeah. I mean, that's quite a wonder. I don't know how he manages to articulate all of those legs, but I mean, it's not the form most suited for toughness, is it? A spider.
Well, they're quite. The one I saw was quite big. It was about the size. Oh gosh, it was bigger than a giant.
Bigger than a giant.
Yes.
Oh, that's different.
Yes. Yes.
They don't want to put them on the front line.
No, as I understand, they're mainly using them for the schism at the. No, when I say front line, they don't want to use them for any army purposes. They want to use it to maintain and move the creatures that come out of the schism, these aberrations.
No, that's even more concerning. I'll be honest. A couple of creatures like that could change an entire battlefield. The fact that they need to save them to look after whatever. Yeah.
That's. I mean, listen. This stays between you and us, right? We know this stays between you and us. I know that they haven't got. He hasn't made a lot of them, but if any other kingdom were to perhaps get one of these things, you could easily see what this could change the tides of this whole continent. That's why they've kept them on the down low, down below, as it were.
That's true, eh? I mean, a secret weapon is only useful as long as it's secret.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
well, sure. Thanks a great deal. This has been very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Until the next weapon sharpening, and he kind of gives you a wink.
Well, I'll give him a wink and head on out. He's gonna go look for his captain. He's got a lot to report.
All right. Let's see. Is everyone going back to the captain at the moment?
Well, it depends. I'm guessing Papyrus and Nemo is still training, and Armin seemed to go look for him.
At some point.
Sorry, I'm just moving my token around to have vision.
Yeah.
I would have stunned Ferreras at some point, and then took him back to the dining room.
You think my actually no, my wisdom save's not that great. Never mind.
That's fair.
I thought my wisdom was good, but my wisdom save isn't good.
All right. Okay. I will say that everyone kind of like meets back in the dining room. As you all kind of this is still, I would say this is still in the morning. So you've all had like about an hour or two just to do some sparring, to find out some information, and you're all meeting back into the dining room.
I would say Papyrus is freshly showered,
Yes.
because he would not be caught in such a sweaty mess.
That's fair. So he would not be caught in such a way. All right, all right. And
Yeah, he needs to hold up, expectations of how one should look, and not smell like they bathed in a sewer.
that's okay. That's perfect. Yeah. If we go to you, Aman, what are you doing?
I'm impatiently stepping from side to side, waiting for Captain Nemo. Hey, Captain Nemo! I just got that. To arrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah.
Sure, if there's something wrong with our laptop's connections, but I'm on my phone.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay. All right. So, if I ask you, Captain Nemo, what are you up to, Captain Nemo? Or how would you respond?
He's just gone to the bathroom quickly.
Okay. All right. Xanon, what about you? What are you doing?
What time of day would it be?
It's only about been 2 hours, so it's still, but in the morning still, right?
I would. I can't see the map now, but I would have a book with me, open, and I would have made my way into the kitchen to grab a snack, and be strolling outside somewhere, eating the snack with one hand, with the book in the other, just having a nice stroll outside.
Okay. All right.
On my own, and Captain Nemo is back.
Okay.
So, what would you be doing?
I don't think I would have broken a sweat, so that there wouldn't have been a reason to maybe. I'd probably just get myself a drink and eat twice a day. Big breakfast and everything. So I don't know. I'll probably be in the dining room just checking on Ferris and giving him some pointers again on stuff that he needs to be mindful of in terms of his routine or his techniques. We might be having a little bit of banter about combat scenarios that we've had before, or people we know, or activities we like. I'll probably be telling him about some surfing I've done in my past, and the fact that I'm homesick for the ocean. I haven't had a chance to get back there. Yeah, just waiting for the rest of the squad to probably check in again.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're already in the dining room, then I'm gonna, instead of being in there, burst the door open, rush in, see them, and go, Captain, I need to have a quick private word with you, please, if I can.
Nemo, are you there?
For some reason, our UPS is on and everything, but we don't understand why there's a connection issue. But we're now on mobile data. I didn't hear you come bursting in and then.
And then,
Yeah, I said I need to have a private word. I need to talk to you.
Okay, can I see that you're panicked or that you're anxious or anything like that? Or are you trying to keep it cool?
You would, like, we've been in the same squad for a while. You would know that I'm tense.
Okay. Would we be able to have that conversation if I know that and can read the situation with Would it be a situation where we go to the corner of the room, or we go to the sleeping quarters?
You can go to the corner of the room. Yeah, completely fine.
Okay, so we kind of just go to a side, and then
Okay,
what's
so
bothering you?
I didn't. I took it upon myself to take a bit of a patrol, to just go check around, see what's what, and I've had a strange feeling lately, and I'm pretty sure now that there are very lots of undead creatures that might be in the castle. They might have infiltrated somehow. They might have been brought in here, but there are two really big ones that I sort of sniffed out, and like no fiends and no fae apart from Captain Xanon. But I'm quite tense. This is not something that is commonplace. And when that whatever his name was, he came in this morning to talk to us, he stank of undead.
DM, from what he's told me, what of this do I know already?
You know nothing about this. This is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time you're hearing about this.
So it's probably going to be the first time that he sees me a little bit dumbstruck, like mouth hanging open, eyes wide. Like I don't know what to do with this information, and then I snap back and I'm like, "Wait, what? Repeat that?" I'm not sure I did it correctly.
You can trust that what I'm telling you is the truth. Like, this is what I do, Captain. I hunt these things, and they are downstairs. Like, that rich guy, he came from there, and he went back to there. I don't know if he has something to do with them, but it stinks. And if there are these things that are in the castle that they shouldn't be, everyone is at risk.
Okay, so DM, I need to understand the severity of the situation. Do I see this as a threat that needs to be handled immediately by my squad itself, or do I need to alert somebody else?
Because you would know that this needs to be handled immediately. There's no other you could assign a squad, but because you've been trained to deal with this immediately, you wouldn't you would know that there would be time to assign another squad. You would designate, like, we've got a threat, let's go deal with it, right?
Okay, but he's also identified Zima as one of the threats.
He said that Zemo definitely had a smell of an undead on him. That just could mean he was in the proximity of an undead. Doesn't mean
I was gonna say, yeah, he could have just handled them of being. Well, I wouldn't be able to make that connection. I'm not intelligent enough for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take the information and like ask him for specifics, and he'll probably be giving that to me, and I'll say, we need to find Xanon. Round the group, we saw. I think he's probably in the library. So, giving you the instruction to get the rest of the squad. Don't make a scene. Get everybody to the library as quick as possible, and then I'll be there already speaking to Xanon, and giving him some of the information. Probably just finishing up as the squad enters.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think about this, Xanon? There's no time. What do you think it means?
We both know certain secrets, which you have shared your secrets with me before.
Most probably.
Not with I would ask Armin to just explain again. Where did you detect undead?
Wait. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. I would make the connection, or try to make the connection, say, if he spoke about the massive spiders,
Wouldn't that be the reason why many recruits are being called back to help
Yeah,
build
but
more of them?
it's not. But Alman didn't speak about the spiders. That was the fixer that spoke about the spider. That found out information about it. He hasn't shared that yet.
I haven't had a chance to just yet.
But
Um,
I would ask Armin where he has detected the presence of undead in the whole of the Duchy so far.
Lately, these past few days, it's just been more like a suspicion, like a tingle. But today, as I was patrolling, I definitely sensed and smelled the presence of them coming from below us. And when I went on patrol, I followed that awful smell of that rich man, the noble person guy, and he also went downstairs. And he stank of undead. I don't know if he is an undead and he's just pretending, but he smelled it.
We need to go downstairs.
well, I mean, people would be screaming or there would probably be some chaos if something was on the loose. And obviously, I didn't see any scratches or damage on Zemo, so it doesn't seem like he was in a scuffle. But it is odd, and it is what's the word? Disconcerting. So I think we need to go and investigate at least.
Are we having this discussion as a group?
Wait, say again?
Are we having this discussion as a group?
We're all
Or
together.
is this just the three of you?
We would have been talking to each other alone, but when you guys entered as we were starting to have this discussion after I was just sharing the information.
You started assembling everyone in the library. I understand.
Yeah, if when we saw it was you, we wouldn't have. We would have kept it to a whisper enough that you can hear. If it was somebody else, I would have just shut up and not say anything else. But when it was you guys, we would have ushered you inside, and you would have been part of this conversation.
I would also just like to say, captains, that along with the smell of the undead, there was a very strong smell of magic. So if they have some kind of powerful magical undead that might be down there, could be the reason why we don't have lots of panic, because I know that magic users, and I'll look over to Xanon, can cast silence and make things quiet. But I don't know.
That is an interesting spell I would like to have.
Okay. We've got a secret code that we use, so I'm going to ask everybody to give me the code, and just to make sure that you are who you say you are.
Okay.
We have a code.
Wow. Yeah. What's the?
We say it at the same time on 3.
Well, what is the code?
It would be pineapple, and you would probably just
Okay.
say that on 3.
But now that's
Okay.
what I'm curious about. Would the time travelers know this?
Yes, they have the past memories.
Okay, fair enough.
So we sorted out everyone is who they say they are, so nobody's in disguise.
Yes.
I would have said croissant, not pineapple.
Which you would know is only something Ferris would
Yes.
say.
Yes.
If he says pineapple.
Okay, but as we are sharing this and catching everybody up,
Yes.
would the information about the mechanical spiders be shared?
Yeah,
as well.
I'm Captain. If before we go downstairs, I've got some more information, and I'll share everything about the aberrations, about the spiders, all of that. Oh, and there's something that looks like this, and I'm gonna stick the photo of this. It's called a fear.
That's exactly how you pronounce it too.
Awesome, I thought so.
I
And
can.
in what panel is that?
It's in D&D references. I'll put it in now.
It's cool. I've one step ahead there.
It's there we go.
No, there's a different channel that we don't have access to.
You have to. I think you have to click on when you enter the Discord, you have to click on your roles. You can click on all the roles. Play TTRPGs would allow you to see that. But I can tag you in it if you want. It should be over here.
That thing looks really creepy.
We'll tag you in.
wait.
There we go.
There we go. Just loading. Oh my. Ew.
It's not that big.
This is like what we're dealing with on a general basis.
Yeah. Give it a scarf and a hat, and it's fluffy and cute.
Ew.
Yeah. Not that big. It's not that big.
Wait, does this look like a Dream Eater?
No, this is different to a Dream Eater. This is so essentially like this is the I guess you could say it's the aberration version of a Dream Eater. So Dream Eater is not an the Dream Eater is it's slightly different to this because even though a Dream Eater is an aberration, which is weird.
It looks like the brain inside the Ninja Turtles villain's stomach.
Oh, Krang! It does look like Krang. Yeah.
Oh, and ironically, they are aliens.
They are aliens. You're absolutely right. Yeah, from a Dimension X. Wow. Yeah, very cool.
Why are you looking at the DM's notes?
Okay, so okay, I'm just trying to. What time is it around now? Is it
It's still
midday?
no, it's still
Morning?
like early morning. It's still like I would say it's about 10 o'clock, right? Because you woke up pretty early.
I'm gonna be sort of a reckless player character and make my way towards the stairs that go downstairs and just see if anyone follows me.
That's fine. That's perfect.
I'm just gonna go do because I'm kind of ready for it.
As we go along, I'm probably gonna be walking next to him, just telling him to say, but now I'm wondering if the recruits are being called back to build something, and we know there's these massive spiders being built. Maybe it's to build new ones, more of them, or to maintain them or repair them as they are being damaged.
Or maybe they're all being turned undead. We'll see when we get there.
There's an idea.
That is perfect. I will say
Aren't they going to be replaced then?
it's just about 10 o'clock now, so we can end it there for tonight, right? As it was a good introduction into your past lives, and you did make it to the second floor, which was great, and we can begin, I think, next week into the second floor as you all start to explore what is in the dungeons of the Grand Duchy. But yeah, that's where we'll end it for tonight, I think.
Having an interesting time scrolling through all of your past monsters.
Oh, that's an interesting take on that also.
Some
Well,
of them
technically,
are very
onto the-
current monsters that we
Yeah, I
are
would say, like-
presently dealing with.
Aren't they
Yeah.
future monsters, technically?
They're future monsters.
Oh, I mean, yes.
You can also drop if you want. You can drop your character if you've got a character portrait or a character arc, like what your character looks like. You can drop it in the references. I usually use that for like things just to show players and things like that. But yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
my character photo I have isn't very accurate of what I actually look like. It's just the closest reference I could find. So I'll find something better or draw something better and pop it in here.
No problem, right? I also like sometimes if we have if we don't have a lot of players for load shedding, what we do is like load shedding episodes, which could be individual like mini adventures, or it could just be a battle royale, right? Depending on how everyone feels. But yeah,
we usually almost get our asses kicked.
Yeah. All these
To be
things.
fair, that happens in the usual sessions as well.
Yeah, but it's because we like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We do stuff and they're like, oh shit, and now we have to like do damage control.
Yes.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yes. So I hope you both of you enjoyed like your first session. Wasn't too intense.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but you still get to find out more things next week.
And still easing into our characters, I think.
Yeah. And it's good to see like new players get used to these random nonsense characters that are old.
Hey,
It's
I'm
so
enjoying Fafaris. He is
Yeah.
something else.
The name has actually grown on me for Faris.
Well, technically it's Fafari. There's no S. You don't pronounce it.
Yeah,
It's a silent
sorry.
S. But I'll just let it slip because having that is gonna constantly be a headache.
That was nice. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, right? Yeah, and then I'm just seeing. I see these maps are quite big. I apologize, but maybe I can shrink them down a bit.
Was there an update with D&D Beyond? Because like I've realized you don't see anything that's on the map like we usually do unless you're in the room.
Yes, there was on the VTT. So the VTT.
No wonder it's so glitchy though. It
Yeah.
might be it's still a bit buggy because of that.
Yeah, the VTT has the ability now to add darkness filter. So what I might do is actually remove the darkness filter on all of them, which is probably why it gets a bit buggy. But I can also make the map smaller. Probably
Well,
why.
to be fair, it is there's like 20 rooms.
Yeah, it was a big map. It was meant to be like it's meant to be the castle because no one's been there. So you can still go back up to the top. There's no reason why you can't. You're just going downstairs now.
Like I can dimension door from one side to the other, and then it's like 400 feet.
Oh yeah, easily.
Damn.
Like this is a big ass map.
It is. It is really big. But yeah, as I said, it's the castle. Oh, you're not meant to be on that map just yet.
Oh.
Yeah, you briefly saw the last room there. Yeah.
I got a little theory. We'll see how it pans out next week. I think they're putting recruits into the spiders.
I think they're killing spiders and putting their souls in them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like killing recruits and putting their souls in spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They battled one of the bosses were a construct spider.
No, there was like 4 construct spiders, and we faced like 2 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I just want to go see if I can learn any spells off of anything down there.
You never know. You could. There is a vast laboratory. 2 laboratories actually.
Oh.
And you're basically entering into the holding cells and the smithery, the main smithery.
Why
So-
are the massive undeads in the holding cells?
I didn't say there were undead in the holding cells.
You never know. It could be
Yeah.
like
Undead.
Warzy.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
just not
that's-
yet.
Like there's about a zombie apocalypse about like to be unleashed.
It's definitely something bad happening down
I
here.
honestly did not think that a blood hunter would be useful.
Very useful.
Super useful.
Like
Yeah.
they're very useful, but they're very niche, and I did not think we'd have a scenario where a niche class would come in handy.
Well,
Least expected.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if you think the last deal you made was with an undead lich.
I still don't understand why they made deals with the undead lich. Well, my character doesn't understand it.
Well, it was kind of like we were going to do the thing anyway, and he promised us stuff if we did the thing we were already gonna do.
Like, would have loved to just throw both books inside and just unleash both of them. That would have been
that could have been
so
interesting.
Because, like, you have... Imagine having to deal with your ex that is pissed off at you, and the undead lady that you screwed over at some point. Like,
Yeah.
there's isn't there a quote that says like something about your heart shall not something about a woman's fury?
Yeah, hell has no fury.
As
Hell
a
has-
woman's
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if we unleash 2 pissed off women with him, that guy would have had a rough day. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like the corruptor might just have talked her back though. That's the problem.
Did he know? It's like I don't
He
know.
is
It
the
seemed a
corruptor.
bit complicated.
Yeah.
Well, they were living in different places though. Like they weren't even sleeping in the same bed. You know?
Yeah, that's true, eh? They kind of had already broken up. So,
I mean, you have to find out next week. You never know. Talk to her.
Well, we can't talk to her. Wait.
ooh, are
She
you
still
dropping some
exists in
hints
this
here?
realm. She still exists in this time.
That's it, right?
No, but
'Cause you
now
are-
you're getting into like the time travel theories where like if you raise someone from time and existence, they don't even exist in the past. That's like a headache. Why are we going back in time?
I don't know. Someone said they wanted to go back, so
I said take us to safety. I didn't say go back.
Whoa. If it's take us to safety, where's the Zodar?
Yeah.
Instead of send us.
then take us to safety. What's more safe than the past?
Oh yeah, no. What is more safe than a castle full of undead?
But there's a difference between sending a person somewhere and taking them there. Taking infers that you are there with them.
He's probably at the bottom of this dungeon.
It's him. He's the undead.
He's the undead.
Zodar.
So yes.
I'm going. Ushi's just when we get back to like the main storyline. Ushi's hating Zodos for the rest of his life.
For real, they're so bloody suspicious.
No, they're just vague and they do what they want. And then I was like, no, all I wanted to do was take Amon out of a dangerous situation. And he's like, oh no, we're gonna send you back in time. Enjoy your past lives.
Yes.
I would just like to point out that none of you, like, I know some secrets. None of you questioned why the Zodar had red eyes as opposed to all of them having blue eyes.
Didn't we not
you
say it's because of the lich that summoned it?
Yep.
The Lich wasn't inside it.
No, summoned it.
Summoned it, but yeah.
She snapped her fingers and it appeared, right? It's her personal
Yeah.
Zodar.
They can't. Yeah, no, it's not her personal Zodar.
Oh.
She just summoned it.
I don't know. I just don't like this stuff, and that's why Ushi was so distrusting and distant.
I will add
Way
that
too
to the
much.
list of things.
Yeah.
I'll add that to the long list of things we need to investigate. Where's that now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, on new fellow party members. Sorry, I'm gonna get used to your names. I'm very bad at them. Did you guys see what we're actually fighting when we're getting back? At,
We
the
were
future.
tuned in last week,
Yep.
and I'm terrified because my character is useless. It seems.
Again, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I was trying to figure out how to use a monk's abilities to try and neutralize the bloody thing.
Yeah, not if the DM roll crits on everything, eh? Then
Exactly.
That was ridiculous. As I apologized many times for rolling crit.
And it's like we were rolling horribly, you were rolling amazingly. Now we're getting into a side story, and now we're rolling all amazingly most of the time. On like checks, and that's like we're probably gonna get back to that place, and then we're gonna roll nat ones the entire time.
That could very well happen, yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if you guys actually know this, and if our characters know this, but out of character, an outer brain dragon is literally an outer brain that climbed on the back of a dragon and fused with it and took over its body.
Oh yeah, it is by far the most terrifying thing there as far as I'm
Literally,
concerned.
it's not the dragon we're fighting. It's technically an outer brain on riding a dragon.
Well,
Dragon.
yeah. That's the corruptor's favorite pet.
Of course it is.
And it's called
Foreboding.
Pause.
It's literally called an outer brain dragon.
Yeah. I was looking up a few things today, and I read the description of an outer brain dragon and how it exists, and I was like, huh, very interesting. When we already have a decaying outer brain in literally the other room that spawned this Neothelid.
Yeah. Well, you've already found out how like you've already sort of got the clues on how that outer brain dragon was formed. So
Yeah, well, we already know where it is currently, which tower it is, and we read that it was his favorite pet because it's a big bad book that messes with people's minds.
yes, I actually really like the outer brain dragon because it can basically turn you into a mind flayer after a certain number of days.
Yeah, if you don't get rid of the infestation.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I got a new character lined up then.
Yeah, it's not even so. It's
But we're gonna fight then. Elder Brain Cassius.
It is no. You'll
Oh.
fight. You'll fight. You will fight. Cassius Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something like 60, 12.
That would be so messed up if our entire party gets TPK'd by Outer Brain Dragon, and then we have to go fight our previous characters.
Or we now just work for the corruptor.
Yeah, oh yeah, no plot twist. We're not saving the world anymore. We're destroying it.
Yeah.
I like that. We're going from a good campaign to an evil campaign.
That is a good option that you can have. In this campaign, I don't know why you would choose it, but
hey, it's the same reason why the students decided to drop out of school and became pirates.
perhaps that is also true.
I think, yeah, because I mean, at this point, after we save the world, we'll be the power in the city. So, you know.
Whoa. Yeah, kind of. I feel like we're. There's just so much like Easter eggs hidden, and the more we find out, there's just more questions I have in general.
This is the perfect time to ask these questions because you will.
I'm already confused why the hell Zemo is in like, even if he was a noble, why the Brewman house? That does not make sense for me. That's all I'm saying. It does not make sense because like the current Brewman house is all about like symbols of mercy and stuff, and Zemo is anti-mercy.
So I think I've got an idea why here, and I think early on, Zemo was a good guy, you know, a bit of a dick, but basically actually dedicated to saving the place and helping Zemo. And then
Wait.
now is when he's getting corrupted, is what I think.
Wait, hold up. We know that Zemo isn't Zemo, right? We know that in the present.
Yes, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
We don't know when that happened.
That's also correct.
And
Now
also,
there is a Zemo in charge of a Brewman house, one of the most powerful noble houses since from the founding times of this city.
Mhm.
And he stinks of undead, fiend, and other nonsense. Well, GG. I'm gonna roll a new side story character soon. Well, I'm just gonna take another one that the DM rolled.
yeah, that's the benefit of random characters. Easy come, easy go.
Well, you got to ask yourself one question, right? You've gone in the past lives, yeah. How do you think your past selves died?
Ooh.
Old age in his bed.
That is indeed how they died. I refuse
don't
any
think
other
so.
answer.
So next session, we'll just roleplay retirement.
Yep. Hey, I still
I
need to somehow stash stuff, so
you do of you do have a unique item. If you want to try and stash it, you can. There are options to stash it. You can talk to various people. Next session, I did end it a bit early because I wanted also Jonathan to be here, Aman. But yeah, you have the option of stashing it. You can keep it. And the cool thing is with all of your items, they won't work. Some of them won't work with your current characters. You would have to either give them to other players or like say, yeah, let's like do a bit more role play with that, right?
I think this orb would be amazing for Ushi.
Yeah, the orb's pretty fun. It's not the most broken thing I've created.
No, but I mean just having any resistance
Yeah.
for a certain amount of rounds can usually change a fight.
Oh yeah,
Especially
definitely.
especially on your healer. If I can just be resistant to psychic damage and take less damage while they try and screw with my mind, then I can. First of all, I don't take 40 damage and need to roll nat 20 to hold concentration on a spell,
Mhm.
and I can heal the bit of damage I'm taking as
Yeah.
well. So I think that item on Ushi is wonderful, and I really want to try and hide it for him. But apparently, our favorites, non-favorites, High Elf, is in charge of a place where it's most likely for me to hide it.
Or you could try and make a a safe area that you could get to. There are many options.
But the
Can
thing
I
is, you
just try
need
to understand what is the purpose of hiding the items?
So they can come future.
For them to
Have them in the
so that
future.
in the past they so in the future they can get them.
Yes.
I'm assuming that we'll have memory of what we're doing in this past life, right?
Yes.
So if we hide stuff, we know where it is, so we can go find it. Especially if we have like items that are good for
Yes.
our characters.
You mean items you might find now in this session that might be useful in the future?
Yes, that's kind of
Okay.
like, and then we're hiding it in kind of like a what's this? Time capsules, basically.
Could be
Okay.
time capsules, yeah. Because the reason you went to go like last session, you went to find the stuff of power. And that's where you met the neophyte. But you could also find, as I said last session, there could be a staff of power here.
Quick question: what was before escaping and coming to the past? What was the reason for coming to the past, or the motivation to want to come to the past?
They
What
wanted
was-
to escape the neophyte.
Okay, but
No.
before that,
Before
they,
that,
They
the
wanted to
neophyte-
find the.
a staff of power, if I remember.
Also, they wanted to find. They made deals with the Lich to
Yes.
find their lazy, apparently very lazy owl friend.
Yes, he's very lazy now.
Which we did find. So.
You didn't really talk to him. So,
But
It's
that's
a bit
kind of
weird.
why I'm
We didn't really
confused.
have a reason to.
No,
Yeah,
but
just
this is
yet.
where I'm a bit confused. Like, do we have knowledge of
you have
our
yes.
current present?
Yes, you
Or
do.
are we kind of just like it's a bit foggy and we're not really
No,
knowing what's going on?
You have both knowledge of your present selves and your past selves at the moment.
Oh, really?
Because that was why I was confused. Everyone's like, I thought we had that kind of knowledge, and then everyone's just like ignoring critical things. We were like wanting the entire time. It's like, wait, did I maybe misread it or something like that?
You do have knowledge of your present selves, and you do remember that you were fighting the neophyte and everything that happened before that. And
Okay, that changes how I would have played my character tonight if I knew that.
Yeah.
I was playing it as if I'm this dude, I know nothing about the future, let's just go.
okay, well, you do have that knowledge. I did I not say that last week?
Yeah,
It
you
makes
did. In my DM, I think it was explained, but that's why I was confused, and I just went with what the party was kind of like rolling with.
No, like I will, like if I didn't explain it properly, you do have those memories. It's not unknown to you. It's all mixed mashed in one thing. I will say like the first, like it just took some time to surface, put it that way. But you do have that knowledge, absolutely.
So I guess it's starting to surface now.
Yeah, it's starting to surface.
The
Really
first
was a
session
rough night.
It really was a rough night, yes.
That's kind of like that's why I was so confused. As like you guys were like having nightmares and dreams and stuff. I'm like, wait, are you guys okay? It's like I'm fine. I'm Ushi, and that's kind of why he was listening to authority and asking stupid questions, because he doesn't know how to use swords and stuff like that. Because like I was just playing Ushi in like a Fafara shell, and
yeah.
him actually with Fafari's memories, he kind of has a better idea of communication and emotions and stuff. So that's kind of like he was a bit different, but I was still trying to put Ushi in there to some point.
Oh, next week will be a different session, I guess.
Yep.
I gotta bounce. Thanks, Ryan, and I'll see you all next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the session, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, have a great night.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, if you have any questions,
Yeah.
you can just DM and stuff like that. But yeah, till next
Welcome
week.
to the chaos.
Yeah, welcome to everything.
Cool.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Yes. Bye.
See ya.
Well, guys, I guess that there was some miscommunication. This can't be helped. I guess it just is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the chill session. There was some sparring. Hey, there was at least a crit, hey? Not doing too much damage because there's not really any stacking modifiers or anything like that except the superior 2 dice and all of that. But gonna call it nights. Bit tired. Have a great one. We'll see you next week for same time. We'll probably start a bit later, not as early as we did today. since today was just trying to live up characters and getting some idea of what Vifari does. So yeah, we'll be next time. We'll be around 7 p.m. GMT +2, because we're in that timeline. Whatever Twitch should tell you guys on the schedule in your own time zone when it should be. So have a look at the schedule. We do have a session on the Sunday. We didn't have one last week because of Easter weekend. So DM was on holiday. So we all had a 2-week vacay for that campaign. But this week we are back with Pathfinder 2's Homebrew Pure One's campaign. We start usually at 7 p.m. So we'll probably be a bit early on the stream. Well, start a bit early on the stream, probably like 1:45 or 1:30, depending on if how early the party or the group comes together. But we'll see then. Might stream a bit of League somewhere in between, testing stream. See, it's still a bit more of internet lag issues on the stream, so hopefully we can sort that out soon. But hey, thanks for joining. If you're a YouTube frog, thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will get back to your comments. And if you have any suggestions, anything you want me to do, anything fun, do leave a comment, and I'm always down for anything interesting and fun. We are here for the chaos. Have a great night, guys. Cheers.